from what I understand, JT Daniels is not feeling pain when he warmed up last Saturday at Jordan-Hare at Auburn, and did some throwing yesterday. Tuesday and Wednesday are a big day during the week for college football players, your tough work days, so I'm sure they'll know a lot more about where he's at overnight.
Were you surprised that he has been out as long as he has been out? I mean, he had the oblique injury earlier, then he got the strained lat, and I don't know. Everybody reacts differently to pain and reacts differently to injury. But did it surprise you at all that he was out this long? Because I didn't think that they thought he was going to be out this long.
Tom, I'm a lot like you, in this radio business. I'm not a doctor, but occasionally I'll play one on radio. And, look, I think it's related. The two injuries are related. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like they've got these guys doing so much of these core exercises, and I just wonder if him having a little more flexibility might have been a better way to go. But they need him healthy to do big things.
Now, having said that, and I'm not disputing that, but having said that, Buck Belue with us here talking some Georgia football. In his 3 games, 54-71, 567 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He played Clemson. But Stetson Bennett hasn't exactly sucked. I mean, he's thrown for 746 yards in 3 games, 8 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. I mean, that kid's played pretty well. He looks like a better Stetson Bennett than he was last year. What do you think is behind his ability to play pretty well? And he did it against Arkansas, which I thought was a great defense, and he did it against Auburn, which is a really nice D as well.
Well, again, Georgia's looking to win the national championship. Nothing else will be satisfactory. So, look, he's doing it against lesser competition. I think Arkansas is a little overblown as far as the top 10 rating goes. Auburn, not exactly the cream of the crop. So I think the lesser competition maybe has something to do with it. And, they've really led with the running game here since JT's been out, which helps you get those big play opportunities. I like and respect and appreciate Stetson Bennett, but I thought these Georgia fans wanted to win a championship, and I think it's pretty evident to do that they need JT in there stirring the drink and unlocking this passing game.
If they're 22-point favorites over Kentucky, I know Kentucky is 6-0. They looked sketchy early in the year against lesser competition, and then they come back, get a win against Florida, get a win against LSU, which LSU seems to be in shambles. If you can get through the Kentucky game and then give JT another week off with the off week before the cocktail party, does that make sense at all to you? I mean, do you think that it would be rushing it to try and get him in this week? Do you think he needs the reps?
Well, if he's pain-free, I think you got to give it a go. He needs game reps before he shows up in Jacksonville, taking on Todd Grantham and that Gator defense. Game reps. He hadn't had it. He's missed 2 games. So, look, you blink an eye and you blink your eyes and half the season's gone. So, look, if he's ready to go, they need to get him back in there and give him 30 to 40 attempts throwing that ball around.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned, the rest of the schedule after the Florida game. You got Missouri at Tennessee, and I know Tennessee's improving, but there's not going to be a challenge there, I don't believe. And then Charleston Southern and Georgia Tech. The schedule sets up really, really well. It's a potential 12-0 team here. We thought that going into the season. There's no reason not to think it now. And now Alabama has pressure on it to get to Atlanta, potentially at 11-1. And then you would think that Georgia would be playing a little bit with house money, right? Because a 12-1 Georgia team, even if they were to lose the SEC title game, to me, that 12-1 Georgia team has to be a part of the playoff, right?
You would think. My goodness. I still have Alabama number 2. I find it crazy that the AP, the coaches, Herb Street had them number 6 this week.
Yeah.
I just find that crazy. To me, Alabama in my top 5, they're a solid number 2. Look, it's been, what was it, 700 days or something since they had lost the game. It's going to happen to even the best teams out there. Look, credit A&M. They played at a high level in that game in front of their home folks. That's got to be one of the toughest venues in the country to be playing at. So I'm going to give Alabama a break on that one.
And I don't think people fully understand. They look at numbers, they look at it. They don't fully understand what 106,000 people can do to an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid. You know, it's out there. These young guys, they haven't played in some of these kind of scenarios. Yes, they had that game at Florida, which that Florida crowd got to them after they went out to a 21-3 lead, and they almost blew that game. But I think that's why, I don't know, Buck, I don't want to take anything away from the 2020 Alabama team, but I'll always have a little asterisk next to that team. Always have a little. They never had to play in that kind of a scenario. It was almost like every game was a home game or every game was a scrimmage type of scenario. Mac Jones had an incredible year, but he never had to face that crowd that they faced this past Saturday, and that means something in college football.
Well, it's part of the growing process as a quarterback, is being able to handle that kind of adversity. And you saw Mac after he threw those 2 pick sixes in the Iron Bowl. You saw a different guy after that.
Right.
He totally lifted his game. So, yeah, that experience is huge for a quarterback. You know, when you're in the huddle and you're giving out the play and they look at you with this crazy look, you know they can't hear you. And that is a tough environment to be playing at a high level, especially, you know, that young quarterback for Alabama got hit a little bit last Saturday. You hadn't seen that yet either.
Yeah, and you know, the offensive line was having a hard time communicating, and they missed several blitz pickups, and I think a lot of that had to do with the crowd as well, and so all of those things come into play. All right, let's shift gears. Buck Belue with us, also part of the Braves broadcast crew over the years. Was a great baseball player himself, played baseball at Georgia as well as quarterback. The Braves seem to be pushing all in, man. They're not screwing around. Charlie Morton gets the ball today on short rest. This is the only reason you brought Charlie Morton in. He's been a horse, and it almost feels like they're playing this like it's Game 4 and Game 5. End this thing now, right?
Right, because you don't want to have to go back to Milwaukee for a Game 5 with that Corbin Burns, who is just he's a Cy Young guy in the National League. That cutter he's throwing up there at 95 has been untouchable. So you try to stay away from that, right? I mean, that's the last thing you want to do. So you got to go all in. I was politicking overnight on social media that they give Charlie the ball today. And look, even though he hadn't gone on 3 days rest in 13 years, and he's like 37 years old, but you got to go for it today. You got to go all in and try to end this thing.
And he's such a bulldog, you know what I mean? He's got that bulldog mentality. He reminds me of Oral Hershiser back in the day, the bulldog. And I don't think that this is a scenario where you got to say he's in there to get 3, 4, 5 innings. I think that if they can get 6 or 7 innings out of him, they'll push him. I mean, he's going to be that kind of a guy, I think.
Well, the alternative is you go with Waskari Noah, who was lights out earlier in the year, but broke his hand in a fit of rage for giving up a couple of runs. Everybody knows you break the non-pitching hand.
Yes.
You don't break the pitching hand. That's a rookie mistake. But he has not been the same. ERA over 6 during September. They might piggyback him today, get as much as they can out of Morton. Maybe Noah takes it for a couple of innings. He's got overpowering stuff, and then you turn it over to the bullpen.
Yesterday I tweeted, 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Ian Anderson's pitching great, bottom of the 5th, and I tweeted out, do you leave Anderson in here and maybe just have him move these guys into scoring position and so you can send him back out to the bump? And before I finished the tweet, Jock Peterson had hit the 3-run home run. Did you give it any thought at all as to whether or not that was the moment in time to bring Jock Peterson in and take Ian Anderson out, or did you think that maybe they would try and stick with him the way he was pitching?
Welcome to Jocktober. That's what we're saying in Atlanta today. Wow, that's tremendous. We've seen Ian Anderson. The one thing he's yet to do is get over that hump. He's constantly during the season been going like 5 innings. It's been tough for him to go deeper than that. So, we're sort of used to it at this point in time. That's the one hurdle that he's got left to cover in the big leagues. These analytics dudes, man, they look at these numbers about how that 3rd time through the lineup, these starters like Ian Anderson, the numbers go up, the success rate goes down. got to overcome that at some point in time. But I tell you what, Ian was tremendous yesterday, even in spite of not going deeper into the game. I loved how he used that curveball. You know, it's been mostly fastball changeup, but he's given them too many good looks at that changeup, so he incorporated that curveball a little bit, got him off that changeup, and the changeup was still A+ because of it yesterday. So I think the 3-pitch mix is something that he's going to look at. You got to constantly adjust in this game. But everybody was proud of the job he did yesterday.
And you got to kind of keep an eye over there, just kind of looking at what's going on with San Francisco and the Dodgers. And even though San Francisco's won now, I think, 109 games, the Dodgers is you kind of feel that sense of dread, you know, in terms of playing the Dodgers and whether or not it would be that. And and I know that San Francisco had the best record in all of baseball, but they didn't have the best record against the Braves. It almost, you kind of get the feeling that if they're able to close out the Brewers, and if you're going to see one of those teams from the West Coast, it would almost rather it be the Giants than it would be the Dodgers. What's your thought?
Well, I was leaning toward let's play the Giants, but look, you got to open in San Francisco, so you got to travel out there. You'd have the Dodgers at home at
That's true.
To get it started.
Yeah.
And so that sort of factors into it. You'd rather go that direction. Look, at some point, to be the best, you got to beat the best, Tom, as you know. So bring on the best, man. The Giants, Dodgers, bring them on.
Yeah, I hear that. And finally, before I let you go, baseball is the most individual of the team sports because you can really do a lot of things individually. But just your thought from 10,000 feet looking at a team that was a 500 team when they lost Ronald Acuna, a guy who was a legit MVP candidate. They lose that guy, their 500 team, and since then, they're a much better team. I know they went out and got some guys. Adam Duvall has been huge and so on. I get all of that, but you wonder whether or not what impact this will have on the young Ronald Acuna, in his thought process going forward, and just how, a baseball team is 9 guys still, and you can lose a guy like that and be a better team as they were down the stretch. I'm not saying you don't want Ronald Acuna in the lineup, but I'm just saying it is interesting how well they played in the second half without him.
Well, I hope Acuna comes back with a vengeance. Look, all these guys are going to face adversity in their career, and hopefully this is going to be it for him. It maybe needed to be humbled a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Anthopoulos is to be credited for brought in, a whole new outfield here at the trade deadline. So Solaire's been awesome. He's been great. Rosario's been a really good player, and you got Jock Peterson in here. Man, credit Anthopoulos for getting it done there and giving us a shot at the postseason and doing some damage when we got there. But I tell you, I'm just excited that this young nucleus that we've got, we're going to be in the mix, man, for the next 5 to 10. I mean, we got Austin Riley with a breakout year at third base. You got Swanson is a young shortstop. Ozzie Albies, to me, is the most valuable player in the National League this year. When Acuna went down, Albies stepped up, brother. He's at first, second, third, fourth, and fifth in the lineup. He's giving you a gold glove out at second base defensively. He brings you energy to the lineup every single day. He's not given enough credit for what he's done this season. And it totally ticked me off last week. Saw where MLB on social media put out their National League most valuable player candidates. You had Tatis with San Diego. You had Harper with Philadelphia.
No.
You have these guys that aren't even in the playoffs. And look, we got Freeman, we got Riley, we got Albies. All 3 of those guys should be getting tremendous consideration for that award.
Hopefully they don't take votes away from each other. But no, I think Austin Riley, his numbers are better than all those guys you mentioned that they put on it. They put the usual suspects in there. But Austin Riley, man, you look at his numbers, it's been...
They even had Soto listed.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah, no, you can't be the MVP on a team that, especially Tatis. I mean, a team that grossly underperformed, and they had to get called out by one of his own players. Of all people, Manny Machado is calling out, him and Tatis. That is not an MVP. That's a guy that needs an attitude adjustment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And how about Harper in that 3-game series to end the year with the Braves? He goes 1 for 11. Now, does that sound like the most valuable player when the season hangs in the balance he's giving you a 1 for 11. That's no most valuable player. Come on, man.
That's what I thought I thought that's what you have to look for. When that series was going on, I said, this is the series that should decide the MVP. Does Harper carry his team into first, or does Austin Riley beat them down with a club, which is what he did? And, so to me, it would be a no-brainer. But you're right about it going forward, and you're right about the job that Anthopoulos did, because the moves that he made, he was able to make, and he also did it without completely bastardizing the farm, which I thought was good. I mean, it's not like they gave up everything they got. So,
they hadn't given up any of the top-rated guys.
Right.
So, look, we've got a bright future here. The next 5 to 10, this is going to be fun to follow. A lot like we had back in the '90s, man. Hopefully, it's going to turn into something like that.
Buck Belue has been our guest. Buck, we appreciate you so much. Tremendous work at 680 The Fan. Double dipping, showing your versatility on both the Braves and the Bulldogs. And maybe next time we'll talk like hockey or something like that, or golf. I don't know. You know golf.
Don't. I know nothing about hockey.
I hear you, man. All right, appreciate you. Thanks.
Thanks, Tom.
Buck's good people there. Known Buck a long time. Good guy right there. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back with the revamped SEC Top 10 and a final segment next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Have you ever found exactly the right new car or truck with the exact features that you want and nothing else? Well, at Woody Anderson Ford, we can promise you just that. Hey, Bobby White back again, and you can now factory order your new Ford today, and you'll get your new car or truck exactly the way you want it. And there's no extra cost to custom order. Plus, you get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates. This applies to 2021 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, and Expedition. It's a win-win with a custom order at Woody Anderson Ford. You get the colors, the features, and the options that fit your life. Plus, you get notified when it's built, shipped, and ready to deliver. Listen, buying a new car or truck is likely the second largest investment you'll ever make. So why settle? Get exactly what you want with a custom factory order today. And get $1,000 off MSRP. See how at WoodyAndersonFord.com or at the corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
Everybody knows the fun begins when you get to the end zone, where you can enjoy half-price apps every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, half-price burgers every Tuesday, plus late-night pizza specials and a spectacular menu that includes jumbo wings, half-pound burgers, Tex-Mex, and an incredible selection of craft beer, and plenty of big-screen TVs. It's all happening at the end zone, 1851 University Drive, 2030 Cecil Ashburn at Jones Valley Station, and coming in early 2022, Mid-City End Zone at 1115 McMurtry next to the Target Shopping Center.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online, advancedlifeclinic.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Orange is the color of power, of progress, the color of Kubota and Huntsville Tractor and Equipment. Those who need to get things done, trust Kubota's L and M Series tractors, zero-turn mowers, the fun sidekick, from one of the top dealers in the country. More than 50 years of family service, every part in the book, and folks who know what to do with them. You'll be seeing orange with Huntsville Tractor and Equipment.
Come on, let's go to work.
People stay just a little bit longer. We want to play just a little bit longer. Now the promoter don't mind, and the union don't mind.
Now, welcome back, Thom Abraham Show, wrapping it up here from the studio. And that camera over there is where we have been here today at the 97.7 ESPN The Zone studios in Huntsville, which is kind of cool to be here in the studio, which is only about 55 minutes from my studio in Winchester. But with everything else I do, it makes much more sense to do that from up there. All right, we don't have the Tuesday Top 10 sounder in there. I don't believe we have that. I don't think we have it. And I know I don't have it on my board, but I'll give you
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Damn.
4, 3, 2, 1.
It's the Tuesday Top. Look at that. 10. Shane and the Moneymakers made it to Huntsville, so that's a good job by those guys. By the way, so did what's his name? Proud to be American. He's
Lee Greenwood.
Lee Greenwood's here.
Your buddy.
my buddy, Lee Greenwood. Lee Greenwood is here somewhere. I don't know where he is, but he's here somewhere. He's doing 2 shows, I think, here, celebrating 40
Very
years.
cool. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, he's doing something. He's here in Huntsville. All right, here you go. A little more shuffling for sure. In the swirly, or the Vandy as we like to call it, you got Vandy, Carolina, LSU, new to the swirly. I mean, how do we not put LSU in the bottom 4 of the SEC? It's unbelievable. I think this is LSU's first trip into the swirly since I've been doing the Tuesday Top 10 in the SEC. And Missouri is in there as well. At number 10, I've got Mississippi State. Number 9 is Tennessee. I'm buying a little bit, but I'm not buying a lot yet. Let's see what they do at Ole Miss. Number 8 is Arkansas, because they're better than Tennessee. Number 7 is Auburn, and I'm not sure they're better than Arkansas. But they are number 7 right now. We'll see what happens when they play. Number 6 is Ole Miss. Let's see what they look like against Tennessee. And then later on, Auburn. Number 5 is Florida. That's right. Number 4, climbing all the way up to number 4. Hey, look, you beat number 1. Texas A&M, number 4 right now. They did what Florida couldn't do. Number 3 is Kentucky. Number 2 is Alabama. Number 1 is Georgia. Coming up next, Chuck Oliver, right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here.